Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be my August TBR video. So I don't think I've ever actually done a monthly TBR, never mind filmed one, but for some reason as we're going into August there's a couple of different goals that I want to focus on, so I thought it would just be a good idea to grab a couple of books that fit those goals and prioritize those for August. So I thought I would just let you know what kind of books I'm thinking or hoping of reading this month. But first I'll talk about the two goals that I have or priorities that I have. First off is to read some of the books on my 25 books in 2025 list. I mentioned this in my mid-year freak out tag video, but I've not been doing very well on the 25 books list. I think it's mainly because I've just not been looking at the list and reminding myself what is on there. So when it comes to choosing a book to read, I'm just kind of looking at my entire TBR rather than these specific books. So out of the 25, I've only read 7 this year. And obviously at this halfway point, I should have read maybe 12, 13, 14. So that's something that I want to focus on this month, is reading some of those. And also August is Women in Translation month. So as it stands today, I've got about 190 books on my TBR and 16 of those fit into the Women in Translation category. So I thought it would just be nice to prioritise that as well, with it being Women in Translation month. So I've got 8 books that fit into this category. Actually, one of them doesn't fit into any of these at all. But I will mention that one first. So this is technically on my August TBR, but I have already started reading it. I just don't think I'm going to finish it until August. And it's The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This is a library book edition and I'm currently 76 pages through, so I'm on chapter 6. If you've watched some of my videos recently, you'll know that I've been doing a Hunger Games reread so that I can read Sunrise on the Reaping. Basically because that one has been so hyped, but I've never read this one before, purely because it got some mixed reviews and I wasn't sure that I wanted to read it. I thought it might have been a bit of a cash grab situation, but nevertheless I thought I'd best read this before Sunrise on the Reaping. Well, I did do a poll on my Instagram asking people, can I just watch the film, can I just skip it, and most people said no, you've got to read the book as well. So that's what I'm doing. And I only started it yesterday, and for me getting 76 pages into a book this quick is pretty good. So it's just nice to learn a little bit more about the Hunger Games world and sort of how the games started. So in this book, it's the 10th Hunger Games. We're following President Snow as he's an 18-year-old. He's going to be mentoring the girl tribute from District 12, which he's not happy about. He feels that that is very much an insult to his reputation. And he's going to try and get some glory back by supporting her through the games. But there seems to be a little bit of feelings involved from the get-go. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But this is a very chunky book and I don't think I'm going to finish it until August. So that's why I've kind of slipped this one onto the list. But then let's actually move on to the ones that are Women in Translation. First off, we've got Penance by Kane Minato. If I'm looking over here, it's because I'm reading a lot of these off my computer. So this is a Japanese mystery thriller which is translated by translated by Philip Gabriel. So I've read one other book by this author, Confessions, which I did enjoy a few years ago, and this one is basically a revenge story about a mother whose daughter was murdered. Basically when they were children, this girl was playing out with her friends and a mysterious stranger lures her away from her friends, and then shortly after her body is found and she's been murdered. From the blurb, the friends aren't able to accurately describe this stranger, so this girl's mother holds a bit of a grudge against the girls who survived and basically just wants to enact some revenge on them. So I feel like this is going to be quite an interesting emotional read. From the back of the book at least, it sounds like these children who aren't able to describe the stranger are not going to be at fault and are not going to be the reason why this girl was unfortunately murdered, but the mum kind of needs somebody to pin it on maybe. So yeah, I think that will be a very interesting one. Next up, I am going to try and buy this one because I love the cover. It's Reservoir Bitches by Dalia de la Cerda. They're a Mexican author and this was originally written in Spanish, but it's been translated by Heather Cleary and Julia Sanchez. So this is a collection of interconnected short stories, and we're following 13 different Mexican women. So again, I'm just going to read a little bit from the blurb. So from that all-powerful daughter of a cartel boss to the victim of trans-femicide, from a house full of spinster seamstresses to a socialite who supports her politician husband by faking Indigenous roots, these women spit on their own reduction and invent new ways to endure, telling their own stories in bold, unapologetic voices. This one sounds so good. It was nominated for the International Booker Prize this year, and I love a powerful feminist story, especially interconnected short stories. I think I'm really going to love this one, and I just adore this cover. So I'm going to try and buy this one ready for August. And then the next one, I think I'll buy this one as well because I love the cover again. This is Of Cattle and Men by Ana Paula May. They are a Brazilian author. This book is written in Portuguese and it's translated by Zoe Perry. This one massively reminds me of Tender as a Flesh, which I loved, by Augustina Bazterrica. So hopefully this one brings the same kind of vibes. So the back of the book starts, in a landscape worthy of Cormac McCarthy, the river runs septic and sludgy with blood. Already I'm in love with that description. I love books that are compared to Cormac McCarthy. So in this book we're following a guy called Edgar Wilson who works in a slaughterhouse, and his job is to stun cows and dispatch them. But basically the cows have started acting a little bit weird. One of them has ran headlong into the side of a barn, and 22 more hurl themselves off the side of a cliff. They're wondering whether it's a jaguar, a wild boar, but Edgar thinks that there is something else going on here. And it says, but what is certain is that there is something in this desolate corner of Brazil driving men and animals to murder and madness. Oh my gosh, this sounds so good. And I love the pink cover, and I'm hoping that it'll give me those same eerie feelings as Tender as a Flesh did, where it makes me want to swear off meat for a while. Oh, I forgot to say, Of Cattle and Men is also on my 25 books to read in 2025. So we've got a double whammy there. And then this next one also hits both of my goals. So it's The Wall by Marlon Haushofer. They are an Austrian author. This book is written in German and it's translated by Sean Whiteside. So this is about a middle-aged woman who is vacationing in a lodge in the Austrian mountains. She awakens one morning to find herself separated from the rest of the world by an invisible wall. With a cat, a dog and a cow as her sole companions, she learns how to survive and cope with her loneliness. This is what really sells it for me. It's described as a critique of modern civilization, a nuanced and loving portrait of a relationship between a woman and her animals, a thrilling survival story, a Cold War era dystopian adventure, and a truly singular feminist classic. How many buzzwords does that tick for me? Literally everything I could want. And yeah, like I said, this one is also on my 25 books to read in 2025. So that's all the ones that I want to read for translated fiction, but there are a couple more from my 25 books list. So first off, we've got It Lasts Forever and Then It's Over by Anda Marken. This is a library copy, so I do need to read this very soon. So in this book, our main character is dead, and I think she's like a zombie, basically. She's travelling across the landscapes of time and space, carrying a dead but laconically opinionated crow in her chest. I don't know what laconically means, but that sounds like it's going to be kind of funny. Anyway, it says that she's adrift yet keenly aware. She notes every bizarre detail of her new reality, and even if she has forgotten her name and much of what connects her to her humanity, she remembers with an implacable and nearly unbearable longing the place where she knew herself and was known and loved, and she's determined to get back there at any cost. This sounds like it's going to be so sad. It sounds like it's going to be quite reflective and introspective about life and love, and oh, it just sounds really emotional. So I'm looking forward to this one, and it's only short as well, so that's also a great bonus. Then we've got another library book. This is Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConney. I've read one other book by Charlotte McConney. What was it called? Migrations. And I love that book so much. I really loved how she wrote about nature and animals, and it just made me want to frolic in nature, and I love when a book makes me feel like that. Migrations was more of a literary fiction, whereas I think this one is like a literary mystery as well. So in this book we're following Inti, who arrives in the Scottish Highlands with 14 grey wolves, a traumatized sister and fierce tenacity. So she's basically trying to reintroduce these wolves to the wild, but the local community are against it. Soon after Inti's arrival, a farmer is found dead, and a lot of the people are blaming the wolves for it. So Inti is trying to protect her wolves, but also investigate this death because maybe it wasn't the wolves. But then there's also this sister dynamic in there as well, and I love a sister relationship. So this one sounds really good. I've got high hopes for this. I feel like having a mystery in a Charlotte McConney book would just make it even better. So I feel like I'm really going to love this one. And then last up, we've got Lost in the Garden by Adam S. Leslie. One of my favourite book covers in the world. How gorgeous is this? This is a book that I bought, I think, last year. And it's described as like a folk story, weird midsummer vibes kind of book. Again, I'll read a little bit of the back for you. So we're following Heather, Rachel and Antonia, who are going to Almonby. Heather needs to find her boyfriend, who, like so many, went and never came back. Rachel has a mysterious package to deliver and her life depends on it. And Antonia, poor love-struck Antonia, just wants the chance to spend the day with Heather. Oh, so there's going to be some like sapphic vibes. So off they set through the idyllic yet perilous English countryside in which nature thrives in abundance and summer lasts forever. And as they travel through ever-shifting geography and encounter strange voices in the fizz of shortwave radio, the harder it becomes to tell friend from foe. Creepy, dreamlike, unsettling and unforgettable, you're about to join the privileged few who come to understand exactly why we don't go to Almonby. This sounds so good. My only worry is that it's going to be a bit dreamlike. It might be a bit fever dreamy, which is a little bit hit or miss for me. But I think I'm really going to enjoy this like journey, especially through the English countryside. I love that as a setting. I'm excited to see the relationship between these three girls and just see how things get a little bit creepy and weird. And it just sounds really fun. And especially I wanted to read this in summer, and we're kind of getting to the end of summer probably. I mean, we are about to go into August, but you never know with English weather. So this is one that I want to get read before the end of summer. So I do feel like I'm being slightly over optimistic with 8 books. I don't remember the last time I read 8 books in 1 month. But a lot of these books are very short. The 2 longest ones on this list are Lost in the Garden, which is like 400 and odd pages, and then The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is like 500. But I'm hoping to read a good chunk of this before August even starts. And then the rest of them I think are all under 300 pages, so that's really exciting. I do love a short book, and hopefully I can get through as many of these as possible. I hope you've enjoyed this quick little monthly TBR video. Please do give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and let me know if you want to see more of these TBR videos. Let me know in the comments what books you want to read this August. If you want to see more from me, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I will hopefully see you in my next video. Bye!